They were clinking champagne glasses at my brother's promotion dinner while I sat alone in a chemotherapy chair, watching poison drip into my veins. 6 months later, when my grandmother's will was read, my mother's face went white as she realized the woman who raised her had been watching everything, and she'd made a choice. My name is Emma. I'm 32 years old, and for most of my life, I perfected the art of being invisible. Not because I wanted to disappear, but because the space in my family was already full. My brother Jordan occupied every corner of my parents' pride, every conversation at dinner, every photo on the mantle. He was 3 years older, charming in that effortless way some people are, the kind of son who made good grades without trying, and landed corporate jobs with 6-figure salaries before he turned 25. I was the other one. The quiet daughter. The one who worked 2 jobs to pay for community college. The one whose accomplishments were met with polite nods while Jordan's were announced to every relative, neighbor, and stranger in the grocery store. I became a nurse. I loved my work. I loved holding the hands of scared patients, loved the way I could bring calm into a room thick with fear. But when I told my parents I'd gotten my RN license, my mother said, "That's nice, sweetheart," and then spent 40 minutes on the phone bragging to her sister about Jordan's new BMW. I learned not to need them. I built a life that didn't require their validation. I had friends who saw me. I had patients who thanked me. I had my grandmother, Nana Grace, who called me every Sunday and remembered every detail I shared. She was my mother's mother, a woman who'd survived the Depression, buried a husband, and raised 4 kids on a seamstress salary. She didn't do favoritism. She did truth. When I felt the lump in my breast, I was 29. I didn't tell my parents right away. I went through the mammogram, the biopsy, the horrible week of waiting alone because I'd convinced myself it was nothing. When the doctor said invasive ductal carcinoma, I felt the floor tilt. Stage 2. Aggressive. I'd need surgery, chemotherapy, radiation. I was a nurse. I knew exactly what that meant. I told my parents on a Tuesday. We were at their house for dinner, something I still showed up to every month like a dutiful daughter. I waited until dessert, my hands shaking around my coffee mug, and said the words. I have breast cancer. I start chemo in 2 weeks. My father's fork stopped halfway to his mouth. My mother made a soft sound, something between a gasp and a sigh. Then she reached across the table and squeezed my hand. Oh, honey, you'll be fine. You're young. You're strong. Jordan looked up from his phone. That's rough, Em. Let me know if you need anything. Then my mother turned to him. Speaking of which, Jordan, did you hear back about that director position? Just like that, the conversation moved on. My cancer became a brief interruption in the regularly scheduled programming of Jordan's career. I sat there still feeling the phantom weight of the word cancer on my tongue and watched them discuss his potential salary increase. Nana Grace, who'd been quiet in the corner, caught my eye. She didn't say anything. She didn't have to. I saw it in the tight line of her mouth, the way her fingers gripped her teacup. The surgery happened on a Thursday. Jordan sent a text. My parents came to the hospital, stayed for an hour after I woke up, then left because they had a dinner reservation. Nana Grace stayed until the nurses kicked her out at midnight. She was 84, and she outlasted my parents by 7 hours. Chemo started 3 weeks later. If you've never done it, let me tell you, it's not like the movies. It's not a gentle fade. It's violence in slow motion. It's sitting in a chair for 6 hours, while drugs that kill everything fast-growing in your body make you wonder if the cure is worse than the disease. It's losing your hair in clumps in the shower. It's nausea so deep you can't remember what it felt like to be hungry. It's watching your reflection disappear. The treatments were every 2 weeks. My best friend Sarah took me to the first 3. Nana Grace insisted on the 4th, even though I told her it was too much. Co-workers covered the next 2. I built a rotation of people who cared, and my parents weren't on it. They'd offered in that vague way people do when they don't mean it. Let us know when, and we'll try to make it work. Then came the 8th treatment. December 15th. I remember because Christmas music was playing in the cancer center, which felt like some kind of cosmic joke. Sarah was supposed to take me, but her daughter got the flu. Everyone else was tied up. I called my mom at 9 a.m. Mom, I know it's last minute, but my ride fell through. Can you take me to chemo today? It's at 2. She hesitated. I heard it in the breath she took. Oh, Emma, today's really not great. It's just a few hours. I'll pay for gas. It's not that. It's just Jordan's company is throwing him a promotion dinner tonight. He's being made vice president. It's downtown and we need to get ready, and your father wants to get there early to meet his boss. I stood in my kitchen, one hand bracing against the counter. My reflection stared back from the microwave door. Bald, pale, exhausted. Mom, it's chemotherapy. I know, honey, and I'm so sorry. Can you reschedule? Something cold spread through my chest. No, I can't reschedule. These are timed exactly 2 weeks apart. If I miss it, it compromises the entire protocol. What about an Uber? I closed my eyes. You want me to take an Uber to chemotherapy so you can go to Jordan's dinner party? It's not a party, Emma. It's a really big deal for his career. The CEO is going to be there. We can take you to the next one, I promise. I should have screamed. I should have cried. I should have said all the things that were piling up in my throat like stones. Instead, I said, okay, you're such a trooper. Love you, sweetie. She hung up. I stood there for 5 full minutes, phone in hand, trying to remember how to breathe. Then I called an Uber. Then I called Nana Grace and lied and told her Sarah was taking me because I couldn't bear to tell her the truth. I sat alone in that chemotherapy chair for 6 hours. The nurse, a woman named Deborah, who I'd worked with before my diagnosis, kept asking if I was okay. I nodded and smiled and told her I was fine. I watched the IV drip. I watched the clock. I thought about my parents, 40 minutes away, putting on nice clothes for my brother's celebration. I thought about every childhood recital they'd missed, every award ceremony where I looked for them in the crowd and found empty seats. I thought about how I'd spent 32 years convincing myself I was enough, only to realize they'd never even looked close enough to notice. When the treatment ended, I took another Uber home. I threw up twice before I made it to bed. I lay there, shaking and sweating, and my phone lit up with a text from my mother. A photo. My parents and Jordan dressed up, grinning at a table with white tablecloths and wine glasses. The message said, "So proud of our boy." That was it. That was the moment something in me didn't just break. It cauterized. I felt it seal over, the part of me that had kept hoping they'd see me. I screenshotted the photo. I don't know why. Maybe I needed proof. Maybe I needed to remember. Nana Grace called me the next morning. She had this sense about things. Tell me the truth, Emma. Who took you yesterday? I told her everything. The phone call, the Uber, the 6 hours alone, the photo. I heard her breathing on the other end, slow and measured, the way she breathed when she was trying not to say something she'd regret. Finally, she spoke. I want you to listen to me very carefully. You don't owe them another chance. Do you hear me? Not another one. They're my parents, Nana. Being a parent is more than biology, baby. It's showing up. They didn't. I finished my treatments. 4 more rounds of hell. Sarah took me to 2. A coworker took me to 1. Nana Grace insisted on the last one. And we went out for ice cream after, even though I could barely taste it. My parents sent a text when I rang the bell at the cancer center, the ceremonial end of chemo. Congratulations. We knew you could do it. I didn't respond. I started letting their calls go to voicemail. I stopped going to monthly dinners. When my mother asked why, I said I was tired. It wasn't a lie. I was exhausted down to my bones, and not just from the cancer. I was tired of being the daughter who didn't matter. 3 months later, Nana Grace fell in her kitchen. A stroke. She was gone before the ambulance arrived. I was working a shift when my mother called, crying, and for a moment I forgot I was angry. Grief is bigger than anger. It swallows everything else whole. The funeral was packed. Nana had touched a lot of lives. I sat in the front row, numb, and listened to people talk about her kindness, her strength, her fierce love. My mother gave a eulogy about what an amazing mother Nana had been. I bit the inside of my cheek so hard I tasted blood. A week after the funeral, we gathered at the lawyer's office for the reading of the will. It was old-fashioned, something Nana had insisted on. She didn't trust email. She wanted us all in a room. My parents were there. My uncle and aunt. Jordan, looking mildly bored, checking his watch. Me, still hollowed out with missing her. The lawyer, an old man named Mr. Brennan who'd known Nana for 40 years, opened the file. He looked at me over his glasses, and I swear I saw something like sympathy in his eyes. Grace Murphy was very specific about her wishes, he said. She updated this will 3 months ago. 3 months. Right after my chemo ended. My stomach tightened. Mr. Brennan read through the smaller items first. Jewelry to my aunt. A savings bond to my uncle. Her recipe box to my mother, which made Mom tear up. Then he got to the part that made everyone sit up straighter. The house, located at 42 Maple Street, along with all remaining assets, totaling approximately $478,000, are to be left to my granddaughter, Emma Rose Clark. The room went silent. Not the peaceful kind. The kind that comes right before a storm breaks. My mother's head snapped up. What? Mr. Brennan didn't flinch. There's more. Grace left a letter to be read aloud. She was very clear on that point. He pulled out an envelope, Nana's handwriting on the front. My name. He handed it to me. She wanted you to read it, Emma. My hands shook as I opened it. The paper was cream-colored, expensive, the kind Nana saved for important things. I recognized her looping script immediately, and my eyes blurred. I blinked hard and started reading aloud. My dearest Emma, if you're hearing this, I'm gone, and I'm sorry I can't be there to see the woman you continue to become. But I'm not sorry about this decision. I'm leaving you my home and my savings because you're the only one who understood what wealth really means. It isn't money. It isn't status. It's showing up. It's holding hands in hospital rooms. It's Sunday phone calls. It's seeing someone, really seeing them, and choosing to love them not for what they achieve, but for who they are. My voice cracked. I kept going. To my daughter Claire and her husband Tom, I love you. But you failed Emma when she needed you most. You chose a dinner party over your daughter's cancer treatment. Don't pretend you don't know what I'm talking about. Emma told me everything. I raised you better than that, Claire. I'm heartbroken that you forgot. My mother made a choking sound. My father's face went red. To my grandson Jordan, you're a good boy, but you've been handed so much that you've never learned to see what enough looks like. I hope someday you learn that being loved isn't the same as being worshipped. Jordan's jaw clenched. He stared at the table. Emma, my darling girl. Take this money. Buy a house, travel, go back to school. Do whatever brings you peace. You've spent your whole life making yourself small to fit into spaces that were never built for you. Stop. Take up room. Be loud. Be selfish. Be free. You don't owe anyone your suffering. And know that every Sunday we talked, every story you shared, every laugh we had, that was my treasure. You were always enough. I'm sorry they couldn't see it. But I did. I saw you. Love, Nana. I folded the letter with shaking hands. No one spoke. My mother was crying, but they were the wrong kind of tears. The kind people cry when they're caught, not when they're sorry. Finally, my father cleared his throat. Emma, you have to understand that dinner was important for Jordan's career. I looked at him. Really looked at him. I had cancer, Dad. We know that, but... I sat alone in a chemotherapy chair for 6 hours while you toasted my brother's promotion. My mother reached for me. Honey, we didn't realize... You didn't realize that chemo was hard? That I needed you? Or you didn't realize because you didn't ask? My voice was calm, steady, the way it got at work when a patient was crashing and I needed to think clearly. Nana called me every single week during treatment. She asked how I felt, what I ate, if I was scared. She showed up. You know how old she was? 84. And she showed up more than you did. Jordan shifted uncomfortably. Come on. Don't make this a whole thing. I turned to him. My brother. The golden child. Did you even know which weeks I had chemo? He blinked. I mean, not specifically. It was every other Thursday for 4 months. I told you the schedule. He had nothing to say to that. I stood up. Mr. Brennan, what do I need to sign? My mother stood too. Emma, please. Can we talk about this? Your grandmother, she was elderly. She didn't understand the whole situation. She understood perfectly. I met my mother's eyes. She understood that when I needed you, you picked Jordan, again, like you always have. And she made sure that at least one person in this family put me first. I signed the papers, all of them. Mr. Brennan walked me through every clause, every account, every asset. My parents sat there, frozen. Jordan left halfway through, muttering something about a meeting. When it was done, Mr. Brennan handed me the deed to Nana's house and an envelope with account information. She was very proud of you, he said quietly. She told me so when she updated the will. Said you were the strongest person she'd ever known. I managed not to cry until I got to my car. The aftermath was messy. My mother called 63 times in the first week. I know because I counted. She left voicemails that cycled through anger, bargaining, and grief. My father sent emails with subject lines like, "We need to talk about Nana's mistake," and "family meeting required." Jordan stayed silent, which was somehow worse and better at the same time. I didn't block them. I just didn't answer. I moved into Nana's house, the one I'd spent every summer in as a kid, the one that smelled like lavender and old books. I painted the guest room yellow. I planted tomatoes in the garden. I started seeing a therapist who specialized in family trauma and cancer survivors. I learned words like enmeshment and scapegoat and golden child syndrome. I learned that what I'd lived through had a name, many names. 6 months after the will reading, my mother showed up at my door. She looked smaller somehow, older. "Please," she said, "can we just talk?" I let her in. We sat at Nana's kitchen table, the one I'd eaten 1,000 meals at, and I waited. "I'm sorry," she said. "I'm so sorry, Emma. You're right. We failed you. I failed you, and I don't know how to fix it." "You can't," I said. "It wasn't cruel. It was just true." "You can't fix it, Mom. You can only do better going forward. If we have a going forward." "Do we?" I thought about it. Really thought. I don't know yet. But if we do, it's going to look different. I'm not coming to every family event. I'm not pretending things are fine. I'm not making myself smaller so Jordan can shine brighter. And if you can't handle that, if you need me to go back to being invisible to keep the peace, then no, we don't, she cried. The real kind this time. The kind that comes from actual remorse. I don't want to lose you. Then see me. Actually see me. Not as the easy daughter, not as the one who doesn't need anything, as a person who survived cancer and is rebuilding her entire life and deserves parents who show up. It's been a year now. My relationship with my parents is fragile, tentative, like something broken that's been glued back together. You can still see the cracks. My mother comes to my house for coffee once a month. We talk about small things and sometimes bigger ones. My father is trying, in his awkward way. He asks about my health. He remembers my work schedule. It's not enough to erase 32 years, but it's something. Jordan and I don't talk much. I think I make him uncomfortable now. I'm not the little sister who laughs at his jokes and stays quiet anymore. I'm the one Nana chose. The one who got the inheritance he probably assumed would be split. The one who set boundaries. He doesn't know what to do with that version of me. I'm okay with it. I'm okay with a lot of things now. I'm okay with being alone. I'm okay with taking up space. I'm okay with the fact that the people who were supposed to love me first had to lose something to realize I was worth showing up for. Nana's money is still mostly untouched. I used some to renovate the house. Some to pay off my medical debt. The rest sits there, a safety net, a reminder that at least one person saw my worth and named it in legally binding documents. I think about her every single day. I talk to her sometimes, out loud, when I'm pulling weeds in her garden or reading in her favorite chair. I tell her thank you. I tell her I'm trying to be as brave as she thought I was. If you're listening to this and you've ever been the invisible child, the one who learned to need less because there wasn't enough attention to go around, I need you to hear this. Your worth is not determined by who sees it. You are not too much. You are not too little. You are not responsible for making yourself digestible to people who refuse to taste your full flavor. And if the people who were supposed to love you can't show up, that is not a reflection of your value. It's a reflection of their capacity. Set the boundaries. Take the space. Let the people who can't see you fall away and make room for the ones who can. You don't owe anyone access to you, not even family. Especially not family who treats you like an afterthought. And if you've got a Nana Grace in your life, someone who sees you when everyone else looks past you, hold them close. Tell them what they mean. Those are the people who teach us what love is supposed to look like. Not loud, not flashy, just relentlessly, quietly present. If this story resonated with you, leave a comment. Tell me your truth. Let's build a space where the invisible ones are seen. And subscribe, because I'm not done telling stories about the people who learned to take their power back. You're not alone in this. I promise I see you.